Hello everyone, my name is Sean and I am a full-time wedding and portrait photographer from Fort Collins, Colorado. So today I am going to be showing you an in-depth look at exactly what gear I bring on every photo shoot specifically for weddings. So I'm going to jump right into it. We're going to start first with cameras. Now I personally shoot Nikon, but if you shoot Fuji, Sony, Canon, you're not wrong. They're all great systems. And even if you don't shoot Nikon, this video may still be worth a watch because it'll give you some ideas of maybe what lens selection you should be using on your weddings. So I recently, and by recently I mean the past couple years, I switched to Nikon mirrorless. Mirrorless cameras are really awesome. I absolutely love how easier, so to speak, they've made my shooting experience. I'm not going to jump into the benefits of mirrorless in this video, but if you're maybe new to the mirrorless world or you're considering moving from DSLRs, definitely worth doing some research. So the first camera I use is the Nikon Z9. This is Nikon's latest and greatest mirrorless camera. I absolutely love this. It's fantastic. I won't jump into specifics on this camera in this video, but keep an eye out because I will be posting an in-depth review of this camera specifically soon. And my second camera I use is a Nikon Z7 II. This is also a Nikon full-frame mirrorless camera. Absolutely love it. I have a little leather strap thing on here just to kind of give it some more flair. Now, I always have two cameras on me whenever I'm shooting for a couple reasons. One, if something happens to one of my cameras, I drop it, it breaks, whatever the case may be, I always like to have a second one on hand. And more importantly, or maybe not more importantly, but equally as important, having two cameras just makes it so I can capture moments quicker. I don't have to switch lenses all the time and also risk getting dust into my sensor. So besides these two cameras, I also have a Nikon Z6 II with me at all times as a backup, and that's actually what I am filming this on currently. So always have at least two cameras with you. If you're a full-time professional such as myself, highly recommend you have a third as an additional backup. So moving on to lens selection, I actually only really use 3 lenses during the entire day. And 2 of those I use probably about 99% of the time. So the 2 lenses I use the most are the 70-200. This is Nikon's Z version, so this is for mirrorless, and this is the 2.8 aperture model. Amazing lens, probably my favorite lens I've ever owned. And then I also use the Nikon 14-30. The 14-30 is definitely very wide, and not a lot of wedding photographers use a lens this wide, so some of you may be looking at me saying, that's kind of odd. But if you go to my website, I'll post a link below. You'll get an idea of my style and why I shoot so many wide portraits. For that other 1% of the time, I do have a macro lens. This is an old school Nikon 60mm macro that I use strictly for ring shots and some jewelry. So maybe 15 shots throughout the entire wedding day are taken on this lens. So jumping ahead real quick, I just want to touch base on these 2 lenses as well. These are my backups. So my first backup is another 70-200. This is by Tamron. Actually have not really used this yet. It just sits in my bag in case this one breaks. Knock on wood, I haven't needed it, but it's nice to have backup equipment in case something fails. And then my other backup lens is my 24-70 f4. This is a very light version. Most 24-70s are pretty bulky, pretty big. I really like how small this is, so it's nice not only to have as a backup, but just in case, you know, I want to put my big heavy cameras down for the reception, like during the open dancing portion, and I just want to switch to one camera, one lens. This is kind of a good general coverage item, and it allows me to just step back, take a little bit of a break, and give my back a break as well. So I shoot a lot of off-camera flash, and it's very important for me to have a bunch of lighting equipment as well. So I use the Geekoto system. Geekoto is a flash company based here in the US, and they make portable and reliable speed lights. So I use 2 products from them on a wedding day. The first one I use, and my most used, is the Geekoto GT200. And the great thing about this is it has 200 watts a second, so it's pretty powerful, which allows me to, underexpose highlights a little bit and really helps balance my exposures. So I bring 3 of these with me on a wedding day, and I also have a few extras as backups because I am very clumsy when I shoot, and I also shoot in a lot of very windy, mountainy conditions. So it's very important for me to have backups. I don't shoot a lot of I don't shoot a lot of on-camera flash very often, but when I do, it is nice to have some reliable speed light for the top of my camera. In that case, I use the GTR. GTR is another Geekoto speed light, but again, this one has a hot shoe on it, so it is made to sit on top of your camera. And then I do have on the GT200 and the GTR a mag grip, which I will get into later what exactly this is used for. And of course, if you're using a lot of off-camera lighting, you need a way to trigger that flash. So I have 2 variations of speed light triggers here, so you can fire your flashes remotely. So that's everything on my camera, lens, and flash selection. So now I'm going to go ahead and jump into a lot of the accessories that I use on a wedding day. For the last part of this video, I want to talk about what accessories I bring to every wedding. So as you can see, I am wearing my camera strap. This is a Holdfast strap. What's fantastic about this is it allows me to carry 1 camera on each shoulder. They also make an accessory so you can attach a strap right here at the top. So you can have a 3rd camera hanging right here. The thing I love about this is not only does it distribute the weight evenly, but it makes it so I can quickly grab a camera and put it down. I also have attached to it the Holdfast Quiver. This is essentially a bag where I can reach in, put some stuff in and out, like lenses, modifiers, chapstick, gum, whatever can fit in here. It's totally up to you. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with my lighting equipment. So I use 2 different tripods, or I should say 2 different light stands to hold my lights. So I use a traditional light stand such as this. This is a Savage, what do they call this? This is called the Savage Auto Stand or something like that. Basically, it's kind of a knockoff of the Cheetah stand, which basically allows you to pick it up and put it down without actually having to physically open the legs yourself. So I use that for any sort of flat surface. If I'm shooting on uneven surfaces or in the mountains or basically anywhere where the ground isn't level, then I'll go ahead and use the Savage Multiflex. This is an amazing light stand because, as I mentioned, it'll allow me to shoot on uneven ground. So I can actually adjust the individual legs on this so I can put it pretty much anywhere my imagination can think of. I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the modifiers I use. I personally really enjoy using MagMod. MagMod makes a wide variety of modifiers to help shape, direct, add color, whatever to your light. So one thing you will need, you might have saw in the last section of this video, is the mag grip. So the mag grip is actually the rubber band that goes around your speed light head, which allows it to take modifiers. So for example, I have what's called the mag sphere here, and it just sticks right there. So I won't go into depth of what each of these modifiers does, but for a wedding day, the most common ones I use are the mag sphere, the mag gels, the mag grid, the mag bounce, and the mag snoot. So again, each of these serves a very unique function of helping shape and direct my light. There are plenty of videos out there on the internets that will show you exactly how each of these work. Then there's the mag shoe. This is essentially what holds your speed light. So this is a cold shoe mount that goes onto your light stand. So works pretty much like any other cold shoe mount. However, in my opinion, it holds the flash in place significantly better than anything else I've seen on the market. And with the trigger right here, it allows me to easily move it up and down. So a couple other accessories I want to also recommend that you take on a wedding day. Because a lot of people are shooting mirrorless now, the one disadvantage is those batteries die quick. So I always like to have an extra charger on me just in case, and extra batteries. Super important if you're shooting mirrorless because, again, those batteries drain quick. I also like to really stay organized on the day of a wedding. So I like to have a memory card wallet with me. This is awesome because if I, maybe fill up a memory card and I need to put it somewhere safe, it stays in here. If I have an assistant or a second shooter with me, I'll give them a card, and once they're done with the day, they'll give it back to me. I'll put it in here so I know exactly where it is. And finally, in my opinion, one of the most important accessories that you should have on a wedding day, whether you are a male or a female, this is an item that very rarely gets talked about in these videos, but I think it's so important, and that is having an awesome pair of shoes. So this is, I really like Cole Haan Zero Grands is what they're called. They make like a dressy shoe version, and then they make more of like a boot version. So I do a lot of mountain weddings, as I mentioned, and they really save my back. Once I hit 30, I really started feeling it, and I had to start investing in good shoes. So these are pricey for sure. These are around, I think I got these on sale for about 120 bucks, but normally these are 300. So quite pricey, but like I said, I can't say enough how important a good set of shoes are. I want to thank you guys so much for checking this out. If you have any questions, please feel free to send me a message. If you're looking for photographer education, looking how to become more creative, how to be successful in your business, make six figures, go ahead and check out seanlara.com/education. I regularly host private workshops here in Colorado and around the country, and I also do private one-on-one mentoring and business consulting sessions. Thanks so much, and happy shooting, everyone.